ourselves so much all the time. We stop and realize without disguise, we've got the power to change what's before our eyes. Where there is poverty and misery, we bring home joy, love, and security. There wouldn't be no need to lock your doors at night, cause no one lives in the dark and everyone sees the light. If we only knew what we could do, if we only knew what we could do, if we only knew how bad we are, if we made the sun disappear, cause we're the brightest star. And if you feel the strength that helps those who are weak, then we'll be selling to the rhythm like mountains speak. So you thought you were a chicken and your butt was big. Good morning, Central Texas. Hey, I just want everybody to know you will listen to another episode of The World According to Rocky, and I am your host, Rocky Miller, along with my very special guest and former co-host of We Only Knew, Councilman, Bellmead City Councilman Travis Gibson. Travis, wanted to get you on here today, man. We have a huge, very important race in our community that's going on. You're running for county commissioner for Precinct 2. This is a position that your father held for 28 years, elected for 7 cycles, and unfortunately, due to the untimely passing of Commissioner Miller and decisions that were made by people outside our community, we end up losing that seat. And you have charged yourself with the responsibility of recovering that seat and returning that seat back to the people. And I want to thank you for that, personally, being a member of Precinct 2 and somebody who's lived in this community my entire life. Appreciated the work that not only your father has done, but has appreciated the work you have done as well. Now, I know why this is important to me, that we recover this seat and everything, but I want to hear from you. A lot of people in this community know the Gibson name. They know what Commissioner Gibson stood for, so on and so forth. But in this candidate cycle, I think it's very important that the people get to know who Travis is, what Travis stands for, and who he is. You are blessed and cursed in a way that a lot of us aren't. And I'll say this, Travis. You're blessed in a way that you're raised in a strong home with strong values, with a loving mother and a loving father, that they both dedicated themselves in the community, and both of them as a unit became, civil rights leaders, politicians in the community, and for whatever reason, when they look to you and your brothers and your sister, they see y'all, but they also see your parents. Yeah. And so sometimes I think in situations like that, I've seen it in sports a lot, where kids are criticized for not being like their father or not having the same skill set as their father. And that's why I say it's a curse sometimes. It's like, as much as we love your father, whatever, you're oftentimes looked at as not being Miss Commissioner Gibson. Yeah. And that should be a negative, because nobody can be Commissioner Gibson. And so can you just, as we talk about that, just talk about what that's like, following in the footsteps and also having to establish yourself as your own man, aside from your legacy of your father and your mother.
Well, man, first of all, thanks for having me on. Great opportunity. I was expected to be at Hood Street Park today, but due to weather circumstances, we had to move it inside, which, like I said, where we come from, we make every day the best day, right, regardless of the situation. So I want to thank you for having me on. And like you said, it's a blessing, a curse. I was blessed to grow up in a household with 2 parents. And both my parents, they were, heavily involved in the community. So I grew up in a household where we practiced faith, family, education, and service back to the community. So I kind of grew up in that environment, which was a beautiful learning experience, coming from a child to a man, 54 years old. Growing up, I really didn't understand what my father and my mother were trying to instill in us. But as I got older and as we mature and matriculate, we hindsight, you go back and you remember all the lessons that were taught, subliminal lessons that were taught. And as a young child, you don't think as you would as an adult. So, like I said, it's a blessing and a curse. But that's life. Life is made of balance. You got good and evil, night, day, hot, cold, blessings and curses or whatever. So I'm a side to the right to blessings, man. So I count it out good. And as you say, I'm my own man. Now the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. But I blocked that out, man. I know it's a lot of and growing up, it wasn't a lot of pressure growing up because my dad was heavily involved in the community or whatever. And so some people had this perception about the Gibson family that we were, because he was on the city council, they thought we were well off. But the fact of the matter is we struggled just like every other family in the community. But the sacrifices that my father made, not only for our family, but for all families, it made a big difference in my life. And so it's just, but I'm blessed, man. And we right here in the area that we grew up in, East Waco, which I'm proud to be from East Waco. Love East Waco, so I'm invested in the community. I grew up about 3 blocks from here, right over there on 809 East Mitchell, which is still our home place. And my grandmother, my grandparents, my family, all of them still live in East Waco. Now I happened to slide over to Bellmead, but I did, when I was looking for a home, me and my wife wanted to move here in East Waco. I was looking at Sharondale and Hollywood, different places like that. Being a first-time home buyer, I had to find the right price and, with all that stuff. But I ended up moving to Bellmead because it was in Precinct 2. So I made an intentional decision to be in Precinct 2 because I knew at one point I didn't want to run for county commissioner. And I didn't want to be no residency discrepancy, anything like that. So grew up in Precinct 2, lifelong voter, been voting since 1990. Been voting ever since. So I've been involved in the political landscape and kind of understand the things that we as a community and as a people have been through from back in the 70s all the way up to now. So I take it all as a blessing. So the blessings outweigh the curses. And that's just like you're going to have your naysayers and your critics, right? But like I always tell people, man, I have more supporters than I do non-supporters. And so, but that's just part of life. But if you're not doing anything, if you don't have those critics and naysayers and stuff like that, I mean, you're really not doing anything. So I take it all in.
Absolutely, man. And like I say, I watch you, full disclosure, me and Travis, we literally grew up in Hood Street Park together. We played on a very successful high school football team together. So I know him very well. And he's a close personal friend of mine and someone who has been, instrumental as I've been able to understand and grow my understanding in politics. I was someone who I always voted Travis, but to be honest with you, I wasn't intricately paying attention to what was going on in our community and in the nation. And so as I've gotten more astute and learned, you're definitely part of that council of people along with Andrea Bearfield, Councilwoman Andrea Bearfield, to get me to understand how things kind of work in the city, Bellmead, City of Waco, and the county. So I want to thank you and Andrea for that matter, because y'all have definitely allowed me to grow in my understanding of how things get done and why things are happening the way they are. Now, with that being said, that's what I want to say. I know that you believe that this seat belongs to the people. Like you're running for this office individually, but your intention is to represent the people because, like you said many times, you work for the people. Explain that relationship between the politician and the people and how important that is.
Well, when you say politician, I like to consider myself a servant leader because politicians to me, it comes with a stigmatism. Politicians, most people they can't be trusted, they're crooked, things like that, and you do have that. but I'm on the side of the people, doing what's right for the people. It's not about myself. It's much bigger than me, because I'm always the type that I fall to the background because I don't seek the credit. I just want to put the work in to advance our community and have good representation, because it's very important to have representation on your school boards, your city councils, your commissioners court, because that's where policy is made. Policy and the budget is made and implemented. And so we have to have somebody that represent the people. And the people, they hire you and they fire you. And I've been blessed to be on the Bellmead City Council for 5 terms. So I'm going up to my 10th year. A smaller area, but at the same time, it's a municipality within inside of Precinct 2 with about 10,000 residents. So it's really important. And so I just get involved, where I see a way. And I try to share my knowledge, right? Like you were saying, I kind of helped you understand how the political process and the city government, county government, how they work. So I'm an open book. That's just the way I grew up, being able to share knowledge and give back. Some people want to keep it all to themselves, but we can't grow as a people like that.
It's interesting that I just thought about it. You sold cell phones for many years, but I see you, as you've taught me things, you're a natural teacher. And so as an educator, that comes natural to you. And so I find that, the way you taught me and you find yourself, I find yourself, even when you're campaigning, you're kind of teaching people the processes and showing them, trying to connect the dots and understand how important it is that we as a community have representation at all levels, not just, the county commissioner, but on all levels. So how is that process going of educating the people and getting them to understand what the county commissioner does and what impact you can have as a county commissioner?
Yeah, what I realize, Rock, is that most people don't understand what a county commissioner actually does and the roles and responsibility of a county commissioner. So when I'm out walking and talking and going to different candidate forums or whatever, I've realized that a lot of people just don't know. And I guess you said it pretty good, being a teacher. I never thought about it that way because I did work for AT&T for 15 years. The money was good, right? But it wasn't satisfying to me because I don't never chase the dollars. I wanted to do something that was more, where I could be more of an impact. And so that's why I kind of did a pivot and went into public education, being a teacher, so I can help mold young men and women. And I take great pleasure in being able to teach, not only our students, but, adults at the same time, just by my ways and actions. And so that's been really big teaching. So it's about educating and understanding how the political realm, how that works, how the county budget works to make an impact. And so to answer your question about being able to make an impact as a county commissioner, first of all, the role and responsibilities of a commissioner, the primary role is to set the tax rate and to adopt, amend, and approve the county budget. Because in that budget, for example, in 2026, the McLennan County has a budget of $215 some million, which that money has already been allocated and locked in. And 75 to 80% of your tax dollars go to mandated funding that's required by the state of Texas by law. So we have to fund our county buildings, our courts, the county jail, payroll, insurance benefits, and things like that. So once that money has been paid, so you paid your bills, and then you have that discretionary funding that's left over. That's about $45 million. And the majority of that discretionary funding goes to each McLennan County Commissioner, that precinct. For example, I'm in Precinct 2, and so we get about $4.1 million for operating expenses and personnel. But where you can make a real impact is the money that's remaining, which is about $4 million, where you can take that money and you can invest back into our communities. And what I mean by invest, you want to invest wisely and smart. So I would, partner with local nonprofit organizations, our churches, in the community. So I can, for example, if somebody had a nonprofit, right, they're already doing the work, but I can actually fund their nonprofit to bring, for example, after school programs back. recreational activities to keep our kids engaged and connected and off the streets. And so that's where you really make a big difference. Roads and bridges, that's part of, you have to maintain the upkeep of the roads and bridges out in the unincorporated areas, which would be the rural eastern McLennan County. But like we talked about the other night, there's no roads and bridges within inside of the city over in East Waco, North Waco, and South Waco. So you have to have a commissioner who understands leverage and leveraging that county budget to impact. And so it's a lot of responsibility that goes with it, I believe, because the fact of the matter is, the only thing you have to do as a commissioner is attend the commissioner's court and, read your agenda and make votes and approve the budget. That's it. That's the bare minimum. But I would be a full-time county commissioner so I can make a big impact, because I like helping uplifting our community, and, I would get paid to do it. Most people don't realize being a city councilman, that's a non-paying position. So I don't do it for the money or anything like that. I do it for the people, for my family and all other families, so they can improve their quality of life.
Yeah, man. It's this particular now, just kind of explain to everybody. I want to explain to you the process we are. The county commission is a partisan position, which means you are, generally speaking, either you're Democrat, Republican, or independent. I guess you could be a libertarian or part of the Green Party as well.
Yeah, you could.
And run. But typically here, historically, there's always been a Democrat and a Republican. So in the process we are now, we're in the primary process where the Democrats, the people who are registered Democrats, or who will vote in the Democratic primary. I say that because Texas, you can be a Republican and vote in the Democratic primary if you wanted to.
So basically, like in the primary, how you vote in the primary, that's what establishes your affiliation with either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party.
Okay.
So right now, I'm a Democrat, lifelong Democrat, but if I did vote independent, or if I did vote Republican during the primary elections, well, I'm considered a Republican until December the 31st of 2026, because you have the general election that comes up later on, and so how you vote in the primary dictates what party that you're associated with. And so some people go back and forth and for different reasons and things like that, but my values have always aligned with the Democratic Party. But more than that, strip that away, the D and the R, add the P in for people. And that's the bottom line, is being able to support our people in the community, putting families first, putting people first, and putting policy over politics, because there's a lot of internal politics that goes on, as you know. And most people don't see that when they're not actually involved in the process. They don't realize the things that go on behind the scene. And so it's very important to understand that, right? Speaking of education, so in this primary, we have a couple of races. We have the McLennan County Commissioner Precinct 2 race, and then we also have the McLennan County Constable of Precinct 2 race. And as I've been going out canvassing and door knocking, most people don't realize that there's two different positions that are up to grab, and that's the commissioner seat and the constable seat. So I have to educate people on that, because I always say, so you and Reggie running against each other? You and I? No, it's separate. They're running for constable precinct 2. I'm running for county commissioner of precinct 2.
And unfortunately, the footprints of those two precincts, even though they have the same name, those footprints don't overlay one another in the way that you think they should.
Yeah.
There are some areas that you guys share, and there are other areas that you don't. So it's kind of it is kind of complex, and I'll say this, in my opinion, it's complex by design sometimes.
I can agree with that, because it confuses people, right? So what I tell them, when you get your ballot, because some people may get a ballot where the constable's race is not, you don't even see it on the ballot.
Yes.
But you'll see the county commissioner's race. On some ballots, you'll see both positions on some ballots. So it just depends. That goes back to education. And, people are always talking about certain times of the year they want to go out and register people to vote. We should be registering year round, not, right before primaries and things like that, but you should register people to vote year round, and we should have some kind of process in place to where we keep the people educated.
and you know, one of the things I'm grateful that we are in this primary season, so we get to choose our candidate.
Right.
Because one of the reasons why a historic election occurred a couple of years ago, well, a little over a year and a half ago, is because there was a process instituted by the Democrats that did not allow for the people to select their representation.
Correct.
Like I said, when we were on the radio together, the process is the process. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk about that. But as a lifelong Democrat, it's difficult to see people who were once Republicans and sleeps with MAGA
Say it
dictate.
again. Say it again.
I say it's hard for me to watch people who once were Republicans and who sleeps with MAGA to dictate what goes on in our community. Again, I'm not going to cry over spilled milk, but those are the facts.
Yeah.
Those people had their hand in what happened in the Democratic primary, and therefore we lost a historic election.
Yeah.
We, you know, as you know, your father was certainly a skilled politician and one hell of a candidate, but it was also he was selected by the people each and every time he ran.
Yeah.
And because of that, he was their guy. So when it was time for you to go down there and vote in the general election, they were looking for their guy. And for whatever reason, this past election cycle, their guy wasn't on the ballot, Travis. And that's why I believe we lost that seat, because the people's guy was not on the ballot.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And so, but we won't have to worry about that this time.
No, you won't have to worry about it. But that gives you, and people need to understand the history about that. That'll give them more of a clearer picture. But we're talking about the 2024 special election. Came about, unfortunately, with Commissioner Miller passing unexpectedly, with 2 years remaining on the term, that triggered a special election. Now the county judge, Judge Felton, had the option. He could have appointed someone to the seat. All right, but what they did, they decided to have a special election, which I agree with that, right? Because the appointment deal, I don't agree with that. But the special election process, it never happened before. But like you said, you had people who had a role, had a lot of hands in the pot. Put it like that. A lot of different motives, personal motives, and things like that. Which, when you put personal and self before the people, things like what happened in 2024, it happened, and we lost the seat after over 3 decades of dedicated service from my father and then Commissioner Miller coming behind, and we lost the seat to a Republican based on, like you said, the president, McLennan County Democratic chair was a former Republican before, now Democrat. You had the county secretary who is of the Democratic Party, whose husband is a Republican, who is good friends with the current commissioner now. And it just kind of makes you think, the math is just not adding up. And I saw it, and the people saw it. And so that was one reason I decided to run in as a write-in candidate, because people wanted to have a choice to vote and put the person of their choice on the ballot for the general election. And they had it with the write-in, but it was a confusing situation. So that's one reason why I did that. Also, I think I'm always thinking long term, because I knew it was going to be a 15-month turnaround before the position was up for re-election. And so now I'm on the ballot, which makes a big difference. And then we'll move forward. Like I said, I'm not going to cry over spilled milk, but it's good to understand the backstory to all of that, because I took a lot of, we talked about criticism and haters, had a lot of that. But in 2024, man, it really it opened my eyes up to a lot of things, man, because I saw people's true intentions. I don't go into specific details on that, but I became aware of just personal motives, man. They got exposed, which I'm appreciative of that, because I know how to deal with them going forward. But I was a little disappointed.
Yeah, man, and you were disappointed. I was disappointed and upset, and actually, um, in my opinion, a lot of relationship was strained during that process. Uh, now, one of those things that me. This is just me. My personal relationships outweigh politics, right?
Mhm.
Policy.
Politics,
You know what I'm saying?
policy, yeah.
Well, I'm just being honest with you. That's how I wrote down. You people who are dictating, and you can make your choices just based on policy and what's this, that, and the other. But my relationships matter, and when I back somebody, whether it be you, Andre, or whoever, I'm not saying I agree with 100% of your initiative. I agree with 100% of everything you say. But as my friend and my sister, somebody that I care about deeply, when I go to that ballot box, I don't
Yeah.
forget that.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
and so just like when with the county commissioner's race, I mean not the county commissioner, but the constable's race. I think Alfie's a tremendous man, somebody that I think has done some great work in the community. Like I told you the other night, you know, Reggie's my guy.
Right.
We was in the playpen together. You understand? Our mothers were really good friends. Our families, lived next
Personal
door.
relationships, man. Like you say, personal
Yeah. So I mean,
relationships.
I
Yeah.
mean, so and guess what? I don't even get into a situation where I try to dissuade people from voting against their guy to vote for my guy, because at the end of the day, I'm biased and I know it. You
And
understand?
you being honest, right? Some people won't even be honest about that because and I'm glad both of those gentlemen are running. And I know both of them.
Uh-huh.
Glad that they're running, man. I was spoken to both of them. I try to share my knowledge with them. What any insight on campaign, I'm an open book when it comes to that. Uh, and so it's kind of like when people ask me, well, who are you voting for? I say, well, that's my personal vote, and I go to the ballot. Uh, who are you supporting? I'm supporting both of them. The people are going to decide who gets on it. But I think I'd rather have one of those two gentlemen than have that commissioner's court appoint a Republican to that seat, because that's another seat that we've held for a long time with Constable Johnson, and he decided to retire and not rerun again, which opened it up. Uh, so yeah, man, relationships matter, man. That's one thing about it, man. I always try to build and keep positive relationships with people, because people come in and out of your life, but I'm always trying to keep that bridge connected, because you never know when you may need that person or they may need you or whatever. So I'm real big on that. And then once somebody shows me who they are, I take them for what they are showing me, right? And so I kind of disconnect myself from them, because I keep my circle small, because it's hard to trust, man. You got so many people that smile in your face, but stabbing you in the back the whole time. What's this song? Smiling Faces. Yeah,
Yeah.
smiling faces, man. Don't they lie a lot, man. Smiling your face, but stabbing you in the back. So it's real important. So I agree with you 100% on that. Personal relationships matter, and it shouldn't. Everybody has an opinion, but everybody has a vote, and so you let go to the ballot, and then how it turns out. It turns out, like you say, the process is the process.
Yeah, and let's be clear. And so it's just so happened that people that are close to me are in politics. I'm not their
Yeah,
friend because they
yeah,
in politics. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just
yeah.
so happens to be that way. And I find that a lot of times, um, like people come up to me, and I've been asked 30 times about you or whatever. Not they just want to know what you running for, who you running against, this, that, and other.
Yeah,
I can that can explain that.
yeah.
Same thing with Andre. People ask me different things about this, that, and other. But I'll say this for both of y'all in this regard. Y'all are much better with the people than I am. I've seen you block. You the one that taught me how to block ball.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I
We went
mean?
out, man. That was a good
You know.
experience too, man. Just the excitement on your face, and the people that we knocked on the door and came in contact with about going they were excited about going to the polls to vote. I would never forget that. So it was a learning experience on both sides, man. And yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you talking about, and then I went in and when Andre ran for office, I block walked with her and seen how good she is with the people, and how and what I'm saying that to say this, like when people can come up to you and talk to you and talk to Andre, and like y'all are not people that's unapproachable and things of that nature. And sometimes I think, because I know I have been intimidated by people's positions that they hold and stuff like that. But I just wanted to, get my personal experience that you are very approachable, and you'll discuss, you'll talk to anybody just about anything, just about. And so you're just a great person, Travis, first. But in this position and in this cycle, we got to get through this primary, and we got to get the right guy elected. And like I say, I have a rooting interest in the constable's race. I'll admit that. And you said me the other night when we were on the phone, you was like, "Hey, I'm gonna be ecstatic no matter who wins, because that guy is gonna serve as the constable."
Yeah. And I'm gonna support him, right? Like I said, I'd rather that option than have someone appoint. And we all from East Waco, man. Alfred, Reggie, yourself. Me, you and Reggie around the same age. Should I say brag? We around the same age, right? Yeah. Alfred's a little bit young. He's with my wife, but we all from East Waco. And at the end of the day, when the fire settles down, whoever's elected, they're gonna have my 100% support, because I like to see people win, regardless, man. I've just been like that. I'm a people person, man. I love, talking to people. And my wife, she don't like it a lot. I have a family when we go out somewhere, and I'm always stopping and talking to people. But that's who I am, man. So when you're in that political arena, you gotta have tough skin too, man, because people can say some cruel stuff. But I'm built for it, man. I'm from East Waco, so that stuff don't bother me, man, with people's opinions, right? Because we all got an opinion.
Yeah.
But now, man, I'm a people person, man. I can talk, and that's what it's all about. And it's just something that comes organic. It's natural. That's how I was. That's how my father was. He just connected with the people. And some people get intimidated by the titles, and some people they call them title people. They just want the title, right? But don't want to put the work in. Even when I became mayor of Bellmead, I had to get used to the fact that people were calling me mayor, right? Because I'm a humble guy. I walk, and I'm confident, extremely confident, but at the same time, I walk with humility to keep myself grounded. But I had to get used to having that title. And my father said it comes with it, man. That's part of the, being a public servant. Is that you got to adapt, and things that come with it, you got to stick with it and roll with it.
Yeah, man. It's like people always have asked me, because of different things I've done in the community, man, you got interested in being in politics or anything like that? And I quickly tell them, no, I don't have no interest in being in politics.
They thought you were running one time.
Yeah, no, I ain't running.
And you told me, no, man, I don't, that's not my lane, right? Everybody got a lane, and that's not my lane. And, but I think you would make a good candidate, man.
Well, here's the deal, Travis. This is my deal, and this is something that I admire you and admire Andre, because I get a good up close and personal look at y'all, is that y'all realize how y'all actions impact other people.
Yeah.
I don't want to live my life like that. Yeah, I want my actions to impact me and my family only. Right. Yeah. I don't want somebody else to go without or not have something because of the decision I made or something else. And I admire you guys taking that burden each and every day, not only living with the responsibility of representing you and your family or whatever, but also represent your actions.
Right.
Being other people may suffer the consequences for your actions. And I just don't want that burden, man. I just that's not something I want to live with, and I'm not comfortable living with, but you guys were with grace and courage.
Yeah, I never thought about that until you told me that, man. I never thought about, like I say, being responsible for yourself, right? Because when I wake up every morning, when I walk out of my house, I got to make good choices and decisions throughout the entire day, man. Because you can do a million things great, and you make a mistake or whatever. People want to criticize you for that, but they don't remember all the million things that you've done great. But that's just part of it, man. But see, and then you got to, being honest, man. I'm an honest person. Treat people right. Like I was raised, man. My grandmother, you treat people the way you want to be treated. That's the golden rule. It's simple. Mm-hmm. And if we all did that, just think about how much better the world would be. But in reality, it don't work like that.
It's
It don't
funny
work
you
like
mention every time somebody mentioned the golden rule, it reminds me of I was a grown man before I realized that do unto others as you
that. Yeah,
have
them
them
doing
do
it.
unto
Yeah,
you wasn't
yeah.
in the Bible.
Right. Yeah, yeah, man.
I thought it was in the Bible,
Yeah. Do unto others, man. The golden rule.
because I was taught that I was
right,
taught that,
right.
and I believe I was taught that by my Sunday school teacher, Miss Hall. But
That was
I
your
just
Sunday school teacher?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, and I always thought that that was in the Bible, but unfortunately, just like cleanliness is next to godliness, that ain't in the Bible either.
Yeah. That's why it's important. And I always tell people to trust but verify, right? Do your research. I'm real big on studying. I'm always trying to learn to sharpen my mind, right? So I'm a real big in lifelong learning. So, but people have to learn for themselves. Don't take my word for it. And my word is pretty good about 99% of the time. But do your own research, right? That's why I tell people during the campaign election, man, look at the substance, right? Because I don't, Andre's a good orator. I'm not good at speaking. I don't think so. But I always do my homework, and so get yourself educated on the candidates that are running. Look at the background, right? And I kind of pivot back to this commissioner's race. I'm running number one because I know the county government should work for everybody, right? Regardless of if you live in 76704 zip code or if you're out in Woodway, whatever that zip code is out there, everybody and every family and every community deserves to have their fair share of investments and equity. So I'm running on that. Also, I'm running on experience because I've done the work. I don't even talk about the things I do. My wife kind of gets on me a lot of times because I don't talk about the things that I've done. So experience. I've been on the council for 10 years, which I understand city government. I understand county government. It's a difference between city and county government. But the experience we're bringing, we talk about economic growth and development. I've been a part of the Bellmead Economic Corporation and the mayor of the city of Bellmead twice, where we brought Chick-fil-A in, Quick Trip. You got the Kidney Disease Center in Bellmead. You got Caliber Collision. We actually working on a project now. We're going to bring a Home 2 Suites to Bellmead. It'll be over there at around that Home Depot area off of Research Boulevard. So I've been a part of upgrading our infrastructure. If you look at Bellmead now, we've done a lot of work. We still had a good old boy system. Now, don't get it twisted. Still had a good old boy system over there in Bellmead and down at the courthouse, right? But I have done that. So it's a difference to say what I can do, right? Which is a lot of talk. You gotta read between the lines and kind of weed out all that fluff and look at what the person has done. And so the position of county commissioner, that's a position that you can't have on the job training. It's a learning curve. You can't have on the job training. So I pride myself on being able to go in day one and make an impact and stand up and advocate for the people of McLennan County Precinct 2. And I'm confident in that. So I just want to put that out there. So I've done a lot of things, man. I do have the experience, so that matters in regards to that county commissioner's race.
I see a member of your team outside the room, and you mentioned to me that you definitely wanted to get a chance to introduce him.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge him, man, because you got to have man, playing football and sports, and I always relate things to sports growing up, being a team player, right? And you have to have a good team behind you in order to be successful. And I had to get used to, because I've always done things by myself the way I wanted to do it, right? But you have to have an open mind with different ideas so you get a good team around you. So let me see, I think, who's out there? Jet, let me get it right quick. My wife.
All right, you good.
My wife, my number one supporter, but she's real shy, camera shy.
Tell them to come on in.
She finna get her. And
yeah,
I let people get in.
Yeah, when she comes in, I'm just gonna move this microphone over there, and you gonna conduct the podcast for that while she's in there. Yeah.
See,
so y'all won't have to. Yeah. You used to being the interviewer.
Interviewing. So today, man, I was like, I can go in. I ain't gotta have my notes and all that kind of stuff and do my research. Come in, just answer questions, man. So yeah, we'll definitely do that. But you have to have a good team around you, man.
Like I say, Travis, that's to me that's the key. Like having a great team around you is the way that you're able to succeed. And like I say, I credit my wife and my family as being instrumental in anything that I've been able to get done. Because again, without my wife, there is no way we would have been able to do some of the things that we've done in the community. Matter of fact, a few times when I was ready to throw in the towel, she was like, "No, no, you can't do it just yet. We got to keep doing it."
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's still morning time. So Rocky I'm gonna introduce my team. This is my Miss Jasmine Neal,
Low.
part of my campaign
Low.
team, my campaign management.
You forget sometimes. It's low.
Oh yeah, so she got married. So it's Miss Jasmine Lowe. She's been a real integral part of my campaign, and like I said, Rock, I had to get used to listening to other people instead of doing. I like to do things out. We men, we like to do things our way, but it's always good to get another perspective on things, because I may see something that I think will work, but then my team may see something that they think will work better. So I have to be able to sit back and let them have their input and everything. So this Miss Jasmine, so I want to just introduce you. Now, Jasmine Lowe was the first African American woman mayor of the city of Bellmead. So we'll get that out the way. She served on the city council. She was the mayor, real smart and intelligent. And the political realm, I recruited her to run.
You did.
And I told her I would help her, show her how to, the things that I know, and she won. And so I just kind of let you introduce yourself, and you can talk about, the campaign and your time serving as mayor, city of Bellmead.
Okay, and it's funny that you mentioned that you recruited me, because that's absolutely how it happened. And so I believe I saw him out at Brain Park. They were having a back to school event a few years back, and he proposed, me joining the Bellmead City Council, and I said, I think I just kind of nonchalantly just said, yeah, and he didn't. I want to say he checked back with me maybe 2 years later,
Yeah.
and he called me and said, "You ready?" And I said, "Ready for what?" And he said, "It's time to run. It's the election is coming up. It's time to get the boots on the ground." I was like, okay. And so, I listened to you guys on the ride over here, and I liked how you mentioned that Travis is big on being an educator. That's exactly what he did. He showed me the ropes. He taught me how to block walk. He taught me how to, just canvas, how to connect with the people, how he increased my knowledge on city government in general. And so I do want to thank you again, Trevor. I know I'll thank you all the time, but thank you for not just supporting me, but educating me and just being with me every step of the way. And so, Rocky, I'm sure you're aware of everything that we dealt with, or that he is currently still dealing with in that position, and it was a really great experience, I have to say. And being the first African American woman to serve as mayor of the city of Bellmead was very awakening. It was definitely, even though it was a short run, just because of everything that we dealt with to lead up to that point, it was still very impactful for me. I learned a lot. It was a great experience, and I'm happy to have been granted the opportunity.
Yeah, because it's a good old boy system, man. And she went through a lot. See, a lot of people don't realize that as public servants, the things that we have to deal with behind the scenes, right? Because that council didn't want her to be mayor, but
They didn't want me to be on the council.
They didn't want to be on the council. I had to find anything to block her, right? Because smart, intelligent, educated black woman, right? A lot of them guys are intimidated by that. And so I got her, and I also recruited Karen Coleman. She was on the council, and I did that. Thinking strategically, because I wanted to take it one seat at a time, right? So we can have a voice and a vote on that council. So I got it up to 3. We had it's a council of 6, but I got it up to 3. So we had a little leverage as far as negotiating, and I played some hardball with them to get Jasmine elected, because it's kind of funny, right? So we in Bellmead, I've been trying to get the city charter changed to where the mayor can be elected by the people. And so we don't have a specific process in place to where we select the mayor, but it should be kind of an honor system because every city council person is elected by their precinct and their constituents. And every council person should have the opportunity, if they choose, to serve as the mayor because it's a learning experience. It's a role of leadership. But they didn't want to do that, right? So before she came in, I was the mayor, and it was her time, right? And the fair way to do it is to rotate based on seniority and tenureship and things like that. But every time we've had a woman, a black woman in that position to become mayor, they always voted it down. That goes back to Dr. Alfreda Love.
Yeah.
She was on the council, but we came in, I think she came in the same year, 2015, might have been the same year. But she was mayor pro tem several times, but they would never vote her to be mayor. And so, and God works things out all the time, man.
Yes.
So when it was her time, right? So I was an outgoing mayor, and we had to have a vote, a majority vote to select Jasmine, but we was at a standstill for like, was it
A few months.
a few months, about 3 months. It was a standstill because it was 3 votes to vote Jasmine as the mayor and 3 against, right? Yeah, but see, they didn't know that. That's where I got them that first, and I knew as I did my research, did my studying or whatever. So at the first meeting where we were going to make that vote, right, and they called themselves blocking it, and by default, I remained mayor. And so I told them, I said, well, you're going to do the right thing and select Jasmine as our new mayor, I just continue to serve. So what you want to do?
And I was actually serving as mayor pro tem.
Yeah, she was
at
mayor
that
pro
point.
tem.
And so
Yeah.
we had already discussed, like Travis said, doing this, having a form of rotation. So, once you serve as mayor pro tem, and when the opportunity presents itself, then you will go on and move towards becoming the mayor. And so, like you said, they just didn't want that to happen. They, of no cause, no reason, they just said no.
They had a reason.
Well, they had a reason of which they could not, disclose.
Yeah. But they had a reason. But so after that first meeting when we came back out of executive session, we came back out and they were like, well, what are we going to do about the mayor? I was like, well, according to the charter, I'm still the mayor. So, that was a thorn in the side. But they didn't want that. They didn't want me being the mayor, especially not a African-American woman being mayor. So we had, politics, man. But you have to understand the ins and outs and the intricacies when it comes to dealing with, any kind of form of, city government or county government. So long story short, we forced them. We even had one meeting, right, where I know Councilwoman Coleman, she went out on vacation. She was on vacation. And I already knew that at that meeting, because we were down one vote. They were gonna try to just push it through and just try to strong arm us, right? But once again, I had another plan, right? Because you have to have a quorum to hold a meeting, right? And so we didn't show up. And so they couldn't have a meeting, right? And so the next city council meeting, we was back in full force, 3-3. So eventually, man, and I think what it was, I told one of those council members that, look at man, you got an election coming up, right? And I'll just run somebody against you if you don't do the right thing, right? And came out and voted. She got elected, made history. Hearts and minds changed, man, because that shows the power in the vote. When you go vote, man, that's your voice is being heard, and it's a lot of power in voting. And so now, I'm not going to say proposition the guy. I just told him what it was, man. If you don't do the right thing, I'm going to run somebody against you. And we'll get you out, and we'll do it that way. So you can either take the easy way, do the right thing, or you can play hardball and you'll be out. You won't be a councilman next go around. I can guarantee you that. And so he voted.
Well, it's like you said, you have to definitely have tough skin being in the political realm. You definitely have to have tough skin. If you don't, you won't last.
Yeah, you won't last, man. And like I say, just people don't realize the things that she went through. Even, to get on the ballot the first time to run, they tried everything they could to disqualify her, but they couldn't. And if you're going in the county government with the boys down at that courthouse, that's a whole nother level of the game, man. So you have to. That's why I say experience and being able to stand firm and being able to think, and you got to outsmart them, right? To get what you want for the people. And so, yeah, I'm glad she's on my team. Been a real big help. Provides a whole nother insight when it comes to campaigning, because, you know, campaigning for county commissioners is a lot different than campaigning for city councils, especially in a local, you know, smaller municipality. Same concept, but I did that by myself. I get out there and walk with my kids, you know what I'm saying? So I appreciate Miss Lowe, and I got to get that in perspective. But she's been a big help. So I just want to introduce her today because, you know, it's all about team. And I don't put I'm behind the scenes, man. You know, so I put my team up front. And that's the same thing I do with the community, right? It's all about the people. It's not about me. I don't have a personal interest. I just want what's best for our people, our community, and for all families, man, to have an opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it, Jazz. You coming in.
Now I can go back.
I'm real good friends with your father, and so me and him talk, and he's very proud, proud of you. And he's actually our teammate. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. I'll go back. They got a connection. I go back to football, man.
Yeah. Man, like I say, man, we have some incredible people on that team with us. And Jazz, I'll give you an opportunity to. Is there anything you want to say before you go?
I just want to touch on the fact that this has been a great experience thus far with working on Travis's campaign team. You know, he has his methods that have been tried and true, right? But like he said, we're better together. So we have all been trying to contribute some new techniques and new strategies just to kind of add to what he's already doing, just to, you know, to make things better. And so he already knows he has my full support. Yeah. His education, his experience is proven, is there. I think that he's going to do well. As a matter of fact, I know he's going to do well as the county commissioner. And I just, you know, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate that. But yes, it's by vote. We got to get out and vote. We still have the numbers. And, you know, when the commissioners court, they redrew the lines. And I knew that was going to happen. Once we lost that seat, that's why it was so important in the 2024 cycle, man, is to put personal stuff aside and do what's best for the community. And I think we could have won that seat, man. But like I said, it was too many hands in the pot. And the other guy, I don't mention no name, the current commissioner, right? He didn't have the experience, man. But we gonna get it back one way or another.
Well, here's the deal, Travis, and this is kind of, and I wanted to mention this, and I wanted to keep Jasmine in the conversation. I'm just gonna go past my mic. We ain't gonna take his mic. No, it's whatever. And the reason why is because I think this is how succession plans are built. You know what I mean? Me and Travis are in the same generation, and your father is part of our generation, but you come behind us and you're part of that next generation. And I definitely see a day where you're running for some office and maybe my kids can support and vote for you and this or that. That's how this thing is kind of built. And the reason why I bring that up is there is a succession plan happening on the commissioner's court right before our eyes right now, meaning that Judge Felton, his son has registered to run for county commissioner precinct 3.
Precinct 4.
Precinct 4, now held by Ben Perry. Ben Perry's gonna step down, so he's not running. So essentially,
he's already in.
He's already in. Judge Felton's son is gonna serve on the commissioner's court in 2027.
Yeah.
Right? With no opposition, no in coordination. And guess what? Judge Felton is going to step down, and his successor has already been identified, and he's going to run with no opposition. I said that to say this. I don't think people will think this is cronyism, this is whatever. I'm not going to even complain about it, because those are communities that are working together,
Yeah.
and obviously there's some cohesion amongst the people in that community for it to happen the way it happened. I hope that at some point we have teamwork in our community that works the same way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what they don't want to do is lose the seat. So rather than create a disruption in their community or a fight over the seat, they create a smooth succession plan with somebody who shares their same values and will cover their seat. Nobody outside of the community came with some naive, ambitious plan to undermine the current established court, because they see that it's working for everybody, obviously, considering what has happened. And again, that's politics. When somebody in their community, because I don't live in their community and I don't have any influence in their community, and what they do in their community is their business. I just wish people in our community would accept that what's going on in our community is our business, and anybody who doesn't live in our community shouldn't have any influence in our community. And again, Jazz, well, I guess I want to get your aspect is, what can we do more effectively as a community to make sure that young people are engaged in the process?
Educate them, for sure. Educate them on voting, educate them on the policies that they're voting on, because when you think about it, the young people don't know what's going on. They don't. Even a lot of people that are going out to the polls, they're voting and they don't really even know, what policies that the people that they're voting for are backing, right? So I think that it starts with, number one, education and community just involvement, getting out and doing things within the community, having events to provide the education that's necessary to citizens.
Right.
So that's what I think.
And then to piggyback on that is that another part of that whole succession plan, right, is that Felton initiated the gerrymandering of the maps, where they withdrew the lines in Precinct 2 to favor a Republican candidate, right, to keep that commissioner's court an all Republican commissioner's court. And most people don't, that's not really involved. They don't understand that. But it's a succession plan. They are united as one front, right? And that's what we have to do as a community, as a people, have to come together and unite, and we can do more together. Because, Jasmine, how old are you?
35.
35. Now,
she's already done a lot at 35.
Yeah, but she took the appropriate step. Let's say if Jasmine wanted to run for county commissioner, right? Well, she started out taking the proper steps. She ran for city council, right? And she learned, and it made the transition easy, because I was on the council, so I could, help her learn and kind of shorten that learning curve. But she learned a lot about city government, which, like I said, city government and county government is almost interchangeable. One sets resolution and ordinances and oversees the city. The other county oversees the entire county of a specific precinct. But she's doing it the right way. She just didn't jump in from, I'm gonna run for county commissioner. It's a process to it, man.
That's that microwave success that you mentioned.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they just, they're into microwave success, and they want to just skip the process and just go straight to the finish line.
Yeah. And it's no written documentation that says you got to do it this way, but it works, because my father, man, he told me several times that I wasn't ready, right? But I was willing to sit back, listen, learn, observe, and he told me to get on a board, which I did. Got on the Planning and Zoning Commission for Bellmead. And then Kevin Wilson, which was the previous city council member for Precinct 2, he was getting ready to step down because he got tired of the same stuff that you went through.
Right.
It was tough. So he reached out to me and asked me would I consider running for city council Precinct 2 in Bellmead, and I told him I would. And what he told me is that, man, it's tough because they have a machine, it's a little small machine where they can force and choose who they want to be on that council. And I'm like, they might have a team, Kevin, but I understand the blueprint, right? And so I accepted, and I ran in 2015, won. Didn't have a lot of money. I made homemade signs up, man. Actually, it was a kind of a story. I used some of my father's old signs that he had when he was county commissioner. My wife did something with the Lester, took that out and put Travis in, right? So I had homemade signs because, it takes a little money to run campaigns, man. So I had to come out of my own pocket. But block walking, talking to people, being out in the community, being a man of my word, and people can feel that spirit. So I won. And every time that I ran, I always had an opponent. And I've never seen where city council people were actually out working
to find someone to run
against, but also out there campaigning for them, with them. But, the people, once again, that's why I said the power of the vote is important, because the people overrode that by going in and casting a ballot to vote. So it's a process to it. It's a process. Like I say, everything comes with a learning curve. But it's nothing really to say I can't just run for county commissioner. But I waited to put the work in. I learned to prepare myself so when the time came that I would be ready. A lot of people, I've heard this comment that said I've split the votes up during the last in 2024. That's false. Because even if I hadn't ran as a write-in candidate, still lost because we didn't get out the vote. We didn't turn out the vote. And the Republicans, they came out and voted. They voted 70% out there in the rural areas, man. And then that particular race aligned with the presidential election. So you knew it was going to be a lot of people coming out to vote. And D.L. Wilson, they knew that, so they took advantage of it. So from the Republican side, looking over across the way, you got all this confusion going on, right? Because, like I said, I can't tell nobody, what they can and cannot do. But if you're trying to help and build a community, you don't just jump in and put your name out there like that and throw the whole. And I'm not mentioning this person's name for a reason. I'm not gonna give him any free publicity, but y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, all right. So they saw that, and we got finesse out of the seat. As simple as that, man. And when he won it, they drew the lines with the hopes of maintaining that seat as a Republican seat, so that we won't have a voice, right? But I still think, matter of fact, I know that we can win it, but we have to get out and vote.
Yes.
Have to get to the poll.
I have a question for you, Travis.
Yeah.
What do you think our community needs in order to be able to develop that same secession?
We need more cohesion. We have to have. It's like when my father passed, and then Commissioner Miller passed. Like it was a disconnect. I was just talking to a lady out front when I came in, and she was saying that she feel like it's a disconnect even within the party, right? The McLennan County Democratic Party and just the Democrats whole, and it is. It's a division within the party. And when you have that, it causes problems. What's that question again, John?
You answered it. What do you think that our community needs to develop that same secession that?
Yeah, we got to have communication. That's why I miss having the radio show, right? Because there was a platform to educate people on things that were going on, and a lot of people they missed the show. It's no information. My father had the 2 newspapers that circulated throughout our community, keeping people informed. So we just got to have good leadership. We have to organize. We got to get young people like Ms. Lowe organized in where they can see the blueprint, where there could be a continuation. So I think since 2019, 2023, whenever Commissioner Miller passed, I just kind of. There was no leadership, man. Lack of strong leadership.
So I don't think we have a established people in our community working on behalf. So I'm just going to use your father for example. Your father worked for the community, and the community trusted him, and they left it up to him to do his part. And when he needed them, each and every voting cycle, they came out and renewed. They had that connection, that bond with one another, where the people trusted him, and he trusted that the people were gonna make sure he had what he needed when he came up against an opponent. What ultimately ended up happening in our community is that we had a disjointed succession plan, meaning that your father got ill. He didn't get a chance to lay out the succession plan in front of everybody, right? So therefore, in 2018, you and Commissioner Miller were gonna run, and then you being your father's son, decided that you were going to step back and say, I'm going to support Commissioner Miller. I'm gonna get her elected into the office, and whenever it's time for me to run, I'm gonna run whenever she's finished. Well, what happened in that situation is you deferred your ambition. Commissioner Miller served, and then when it was time for somebody else to defer their ambition and defer to the more experienced, the more qualified, the more proven candidate, that individual couldn't defer his ambition.
Right.
Right? And because he couldn't defer it, it created the other people outside our community used him to undermine a seat that we've held for over 30 years. So again, when this is over, when this primary is over, I hope those relationships that were harmed in 2024 can be restored, and we can begin to rebuild those cohesion in our community. Because I believe when people get blinded by ambition, they lose the focus on what is actually the reason why people sit in those seats. Commissioner Gibson didn't sit in that seat so he could get rich or take care of his family. He sat in that seat so he could look out for me and you and Jazz and all those others. That's why he sat in that seat, right? I believe people look at what the commissioner is paid now and thinks the commissioner always was paid. You know that it was a process getting to where these positions are compensated right now.
Yeah.
And your father started on the low end, so it was never about money for him. But I would suggest any young man do this. If you want to prove something to me and to the people, go start something yourself, build it yourself, and then that shows the people that you have the wherewithal to create something and grow something. Would you say your daddy started 2 newspapers, started his own school?
Yeah, we had that's a lot of stuff.
So what I'm saying is go do something as a young man before you try to represent the interests of the people. Go do something.
Yeah.
Jab, you're an entrepreneur. You got your own business. You know what it means to have families depending on you and making payroll and all that kind of stuff. That means something when you go and try to serve the people. If you ain't never had to make no payroll or make sure people get paid, you don't understand how your actions affect other people.
Yeah. That's spot on.
So we gotta understand that in our community, people gotta defer their ambition and then coming to a place. I'll even say this, man. And this ain't no lie. I'm 56. At the time, I probably was 54. I'm at my business, at my establishment with my wife, going in and out, handling business. And that young fella came to me and told me, "'Cause I supported you, I don't respect you." Now, he was being a petulant child in that situation. He don't understand the work that I done put in this community, the things I done done in this community, how I'm committed and love this community, the things you done, the things you done put in. He just had something he really wanted for himself. And he saw people in the way of him having that thing for himself without him looking into, right, who should really serve these people, who should really represent the people. And like I say, I got children, bro. So I understand his mindset that he really wanted something that was going to give him a title. He was title chasing. He wanted to be something. And I'll say that it's okay to be something, but I'll tell any man, go do something first. Right. Because if you go do something, you're going to be something.
Yeah. Well, you said a mouthful, man. You just said a mouthful of good stuff, and I'm glad we are doing this. We can go back and re-listen to it. We go back. So it goes back to when 2019, 2019, because I'd always had ambitions of running. Like I had ambitions as well, right? one day replace my father. I hope to do it before he had passed, right? I just wanted to see that the
But you
things
did it.
that I did, the things that he was showing me as a young man, which at the time I didn't realize what the seeds that he was planting, to show him that, yeah, that I did, because to make him proud, which I know he's proud anyway. And so in 2018, 2019, I was gearing up for that. I'd actually went in and filed and was going to be on the ballot. And Commissioner Miller was going to, and I wish he had retired, man. Maybe with health or whatever. But she was gonna retire when my father retired. But whatever reason it was, she decided she wanted to run. And me, out of respect, we had a good relationship. We sat down right here at this East Waco Library. I met her up here, and we had a long conversation, man. And I said, you know what, Miss Pat, because I'll step back, I'll defer, and like you were saying, deferring your ambitions to a later time, right? After you got to put some work in. And man, that was some people. I had people in my ear saying you should have ran, you could have won this and that. But I feel my heart is clear because I made the right decision, 100%. Because it wasn't about the money for me. If it was about the money, I would have ran. But it was about the seat that we had worked so hard to get. Not only my father, but the supporters, the community, the people that came before him, like the Shepard Mullins, which was the first appointed African American county commissioner, to the Reverend Robert Gilbert, to Dr. Emma Harrison, to City Councilman Marilyn Jones, to City Councilman Dewey Pinckney. All those people, I took in consideration all of those people, the things they worked so hard for to get us to a point. And I just couldn't, my conscience wouldn't allow me to run and even risk losing that seat.
And just so people know, to understand it wasn't a binary choice then, because people had realized that Commissioner Gibson was no longer running. There were several other Democrats that I never had recognized that had ran for the seat. So you couldn't risk in that moment splintering the vote and having one of those other cats slip in as the Democratic nominee.
Yeah.
And so what you did, Travis, was something that really was, in my opinion, selfless. And me and you spoke outside of Pleasant Hours after you made that decision. And I saw in that moment how selfless you was, but I also saw in that moment how determined you were, because it really hurt you to step down because it was something you wanted dearly.
Right.
But if somebody was going to do something in the best interest of the community, you felt like you would have wanted to do it.
Yeah, and I, like I said, I was 100%. My mind was clear with that decision because it's the people first. You put the people. I had the people in mind, and that seat and the representation. And so after we met here at the library, man, I remember vividly, we talked about a lot of things, man. And she told me why. She told me a reason why she wanted to run. And I said, you know what? I didn't even have to go home and think about it. I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call a press conference, and I'll do it at my church. And all this was decided before I even left before we left. And I'm gonna put all my support behind you, right? So we can have, get you. And she made history with that decision I made. She made history. She was the first African American woman to be elected to the McLennan County Commissioner's Court. But I wasn't thinking about all that. My thing was to maintain the integrity of that seat and for our community, man. So it wouldn't get to this point where we have a Republican in that seat now. But a lot of people, they don't remember stuff like that, right? That's a young guy. He might not even know. He probably was like in his early 20s at the time, right? But so he probably don't even know the things that took place. And so it worked out good. And I got up and I spoke. The people didn't know what we were coming there to meet about. And I still got that picture. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put it up. That's a reminder to me how far we've come and just doing right, making the right decision, right? Not out of self-gain and self-motive, but for the people. It goes back to that. And so, and she won. I stepped down and I told all my support, we're gonna support Commissioner Miller, and she won. And I had to wait, right? Because I'm patient, and my dad had taught me something. It's a time. It'll be a right time. And so in the meantime, what you do, get on the council, learn as much as you can, get back into the community, keep your nose clean, right? And one day it'll be your time, right? And so I deferred my ambitions back in 2018. But you said a mouthful on that one, man. Yeah, we just got to get better as a people, man, coming together and doing.
Wait. Like I say, I know people always put it on us as a people, but I always go back to it's generally usually a few individuals acting out of order that creates the chaos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, when we were growing up, it was a pretty violent community, but it was just only a few people causing all the all the hectic, all the chaos, and that's how it is even in this space here is that, and then people outside of our community, right? Here's what they don't understand. What they don't understand about us is that we won't get out of our house, put our beans on warm, go down and vote if it's not who we want to vote for. You understand? I don't care where school you graduated from. I don't care how many accolades you got. I don't care how many, what's on your wall. We as a people, we vote for people. Yeah. We don't vote for issues. We vote for people. And when our guy, President Obama, was on the ballot, we broke records voting. You understand? When Commissioner Miller was on the ballot and she ran for office and we had a chance to make history, we broke records voting in Precinct 2. Yeah. And when we have somebody in there that we don't consider one of us, we don't get out and vote the way we should. Again, people always say it's a low voter turnout in Precinct 2. Give them somebody to vote for. Yeah. And see what happens. You will see what happened when we block walk and say, hey, excuse me, this is Rocky Miller. I want to encourage you to vote for Commissioner Miller. Can I vote now? Is it down there?
They were excited, man. They were excited.
I can do. What do I need?
Yeah.
These people had never vote. What do I need? Just need your driver's license. Go get my driver's license. Hey, go. Let me go wake somebody up. Go wake somebody. We finna go vote. I can vote today. You gotta understand. You gotta first you gotta ask for these people to vote. Then you gotta tell them where to vote, because it's so many years in our community that there have been people on the ballot that's not our people. Yeah. And they not getting out to vote. When you give them somebody to vote for, they'll go out and vote.
You'll vote, man, and we came together, right? I was out there campaigning for Commissioner Miller because I wanted her. I was excited for her to get the seat, right? And so our people vote, man. We just got to get them out and encourage them, right? Especially this younger generation. They're excited about it, man.
So like when people would talk to me about us losing the seat and what factored into that, I say, hey, what factored into that is that people didn't come out and vote for the candidate. I say, go look at box 10, box 12, and box 14. They turned out at 30%.
Low.
Super low. Historically low. I'm like, they didn't want to vote for that guy.
I think we had 900 undervotes. Yeah. Undervoted was somebody to go and they vote, but when it came down to that particular race, they just didn't vote.
So we use a term called undervote, and this is what an undervote is. The undervote is I got my butt up, went over to Paul Quinn, got my ballot, bubbled in candidates, and on that race, I didn't see nobody I wanted to vote for, and I skipped it.
Yeah.
We had 900 people in Precinct 2 just didn't vote in that race. Because I know why they didn't vote, though. Because they didn't see Travis Gibson on the ballot. What? And they didn't know to write his name in.
Had 340, I think it was 349 write-ins. Matter of fact, the young lady out front, when I was talking to her when I came in and said I asked her where she lives. I live in East Waco. I said, well, I need Travis Gibson. I already know you. I wrote your name in 2024. So it's stuff like that that give me encouragement and motivation, man. What were you finna say, Dad?
What happened with the mail-outs? That's a question for you. What happened with the mail-outs in 2024?
What you mean, what happened with the mail-outs?
Did someone send out mail-outs for you, or?
See, okay, yeah. She's serious too.
Yeah.
So
no, it's just a question.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you.
Now, so
I just want to know.
So I gotta. So.
Because I heard about it.
Yeah, somebody. I gotta. So I started getting the calls. Right. I said, man, I got your card in the mail. I'm like, man, I ain't had no money to send no cards out. I had no posters, man. Then somebody else called me. I got your card, your
My mama
campaign
got
card.
it.
Yeah. And so I went home, looked in the bed. I got a card. I'm like, who is this? So
They didn't lie on it though.
no, they were factual. I appreciated whoever did it. It was a little bit late. I wish I had did it earlier or whatever. But I didn't know the guy, so I did start doing some research or whatever. And he was a Republican out of
Austin, outside of Austin.
outside of Austin, man. That
In the hill country, so they say. I want to
Yeah.
say like Fredericksburg or something like that.
But he was known for letting Greg Abbott fly on his private jets and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, so I didn't know. So I don't know the motive behind it. I had a gentleman ask me that the other night at the candidate forum here, and I was like, well, do you know who he is? I don't know.
You never followed up with them to find out, or
Nah, I didn't know
how
him.
did you find out that it was him?
I think on the postcard, and I think I got that flyer. I think on the postcard it had. Somebody ran a story because the newspaper reached out to me.
No, the postcard had the pack that sent it out.
Okay.
You have to if I do something on behalf of Travis, I gotta acknowledge that either it was his campaign or it wasn't his campaign. Okay. So there was a pack that put it out, and that pack, it was a Republican pack that was led by this guy, just doing the research, and but before we even did any of that research, a guy had wrote that article,
right? Yeah,
and made it seem like Travis had cooperated with the guy. Yeah. The guy just researched Travis, looked up Travis' resume. He got everything. He knew what school he graduated from. He knew everything about Travis. Sent it out, almost like he had took stuff off of Facebook. Yeah, that was kind of. He had talking points on there that Travis had said, everything, and boom, sent it out to probably 5,000 people. Well, everybody in
Precinct 2. So yeah, I didn't. They came out in the newspaper, called me. I was like, I don't know the guy, man. I keep telling him, maybe you can do some research and find out. But he was this multi-millionaire Republican and they wrote in the deal that he would let Greg Abbott fly on his plane and all that. I'm like, I wish I would have, could have sent me some campaign money, I would do it. But I don't know who the guy was or the motive behind it. We can speculate, but I just don't know.
So here's what I would say on this. I told you that if person sending a flyer can compel me to write my name in over voting for either of those two candidates, then those candidates have not been effective campaigning. Because it wasn't like it was 10 mailers. It was just one.
One mailer.
How much junk mail we get that we don't even see? We put it in one big group and
yeah.
So what I'm saying, if that affected what the outcome, that means that the person that was campaigning was not effective. I'll say this, and this is what I wanted to say to the people out there. We have all this social media that people try to campaign with, right? They try to campaign. They do emails. They do posting on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, Travis told me, Commissioner Gibson told me, the way you win campaigns is block by block, house by house.
Yeah.
You cannot email your way to a victory. You can't post your way to a victory. It's block by block, house by house. And if you want to be part of this campaign, and if you want to work in that campaign, you have to be willing to go. Now, here's the deal. You don't have to knock on every door in East Waco. Just knock on the doors on your block. If you can be in charge of just knocking on the doors of everybody on your block, you can win the block. I think Commissioner Gibson called them block captains.
Block captain, yeah.
Right?
Called them block captain.
If you want to be a block captain for Travis Gibson, reach out to his campaign or whatever. Because here's the deal. He can win this primary without that. But if we're gonna take that seat back, we're gonna have to have block captains. We're gonna have to have precinct captains. It's gonna have to be a concerted effort, all hands on deck, everybody involved to get Travis reelected. Get it elected. I'm sorry, get him elected. That's what it's gonna take. And if you're not willing to do that,
Another forget the camera over here. Which one I need to look at?
no, this one. If you're not willing to do both, but this one ain't showing though.
Okay.
Right now, when you speaking by yourself, that's whenever you.
Okay, I got you.
So that's what I'm simply saying. You can win this primary, but when we talk about after this primary is over, then the big fight starts.
Man, yeah, I got some work, and I never take anything for granted either, man, because I gotta, even with this primary, which is short, primary is a short turnaround. As you see, I don't have any signs out, right? Because you gotta. And it's tough being a teacher, man. So I have a full-time job. People don't understand the work that goes into it. I have a full-time job, campaign on the weekends, and my team came with the social media deal because I was kind of, they talked me into it, which is good. I appreciate this. It adds on to what the system that's tried and tested, right? So we got that going, but it's tough. But that shows my dedication, right? And I don't ever brag on myself, but it's dedication. I got city council business I'm still attending to. I got a family. I got my mother, that I'm trying to, myself trying to help my mother out and things like that, school, and then trying to campaign. But I do it because, I could easily say, throw the towel in and worry about myself and my family, right? Travel, do things, save my money and my time, which is invaluable. That time, man, you can't, and that's why I respect everybody's time, but it's about, because I'm dedicated to the people, man. And so I just wanted to say that because I never say that. People say, well, I had some people say, well, I don't see that. I got to work. I'm educating young men and women every day. I'm pouring into those young men and women because I enjoy doing that, but I know at the same time I have to campaign. That's why I'm glad I got a campaign team that they can keep things moving even when I'm at work.
I was just going to say, yes, you have a campaign team. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here because we're actually working today. I wasn't even expecting to come in here and speak, but thank y'all for having me. I enjoyed it. Y'all are doing great, and I'll see you later, Travis.
Okay.
Thank you, Ron.
Thank you very much, Jasmine, for coming.
You took charge on that?
Oh yeah. You can't tiptoe in it. You gotta let them know what's going on.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right then. Why? Come here. Now you're right, man. I forgot about that. Like I said, I don't know. That was a good question.
That was a good question. And again, mail outs are effective. Let's not say the mail outs are effective, but mail outs cost money.
That's why we over there handwriting last night, right, with the stamps and envelope, and trying to be resourceful, right, with limited funds, man. It's been tough. You got to raise money. I've been trying to come out of. It's tough to put it like that, but I think it's worth it. I know it's worth it at the end of the day, man, because I'll be able to do something. I can impact the county and our people on a bigger platform than on the city council. I'm gonna introduce my wife. She never likes getting on the camera or anything like that, but it's Valentine's Day. I forgot about that. Come on over and sit down.
Yeah, we getting the real boss in here now.
Yeah, she keep me grounded, man. Keep me focused. This my wife. I know she don't like to be on camera or anything like that, but beside every good man is a great woman, right? Like you got Keisha in your corner. They gonna keep us grounded. They gonna let nobody talk about you. Cause I got thick skin. My wife, she don't play this stuff, man. Which I appreciate that. And it's even hard. I want her to just speak to the fact of. I got you now. I got you in the room. To the fact of the time and the sacrifice that I'm away from my own home and away from my family, trying to support and get back to other family. But I'm good with that because that's just who I am. But she understands it because if she didn't, I wouldn't be able to do what I do.
So what am I speaking?
So first of all, relax. Don't even worry about the camera. So being a wife and being married to somebody that's in politics and all that, I'm out. The family sacrifices a lot.
Yeah. I'm
out on the phone late. I got time away from the house, time away from me and my family communicating and my wife. So I just want to kind of speak to that real briefly on the challenges, but she supports me though because it was just
It's really not a challenge because I know I like to see him doing something that he loves to do, which is community work and working with other people. And we've been married 30 years. We've been together 31. And this is something he's been talking about for 30 plus years. Is he had a blueprint on how he wanted to um, run for county commissioner. And I was there for the meetings between him and his dad and his mom. And, I know what he's sacrificed and I know what he's given up to run for this seat. And we just really want people to get out there and support him. And I'm going to do my part and support him 100%. Last night I was up addressing envelopes, and this morning I got up and mailed them out. So we just want people to get out there and support. And like Jasmine said, this is not a microwave thing he's doing. He's put the work in, and he's done what he's been taught to do, and we just praying for a good outcome.
Yeah.
Ms. Gibson, let me ask you this. Cause no. I'm gonna talk to you. It's Valentine's Day, and you get to say something nice. You got to say something nice to him today. But because I want you to just for a moment forget about the camera, forget about everything, and just talk about this part of it. Because I think this is part of it is the part that I think is toughest for the spouses. And just by community organizing and stuff like that, and people get things wrong and misinformation gets out there, how do you handle the criticism of your husband when you know what they're saying is not accurate, or it's made up, or completely fabricated, or they misunderstand it? How do you deal with that and get through those moments?
I'm gonna say, first off, I pray every day, probably 2 or 3 times a day, to ask God to give me the strength and to keep my mouth shut. Because in this relationship, he's the calm person, I'm the firecracker. People might not see that from me because I'm real quiet. But when you talk about my kids and my husband, or my family, that's when but he keeps me calm, and he tell me, those are just words. We know the truth. He keeps me calm. So that's.
So you essentially saying that even in those difficult times or whatever, he still has to step in and ask you to regulate your emotions for a moment. Mm-hmm. Are you aware of that when things are out there being said, and that you're gonna have to regulate her? Do you try to catch it before she get it?
yeah, man. It's kind of tough. That's my wife. I'm the protector, right? And I can deal with it, but she, being a woman and being a protector of the house and the kids, things like that. Yeah, she gets offended by a lot of things. And I just tell her, you have to don't worry about it, right? Just keep praying. I'm good. My feelings ain't hurt. But I get where she's coming from though, because you don't want nobody talking about your spouse. Or
the funny thing is, it's people that I say hi to that my wife would never speak to again in life.
You know what? Because she don't have a problem cutting them off. She don't have a problem with that. She'll cut you off. That's it.
That's the thing. Like, it's people I speak to that my wife is never gonna say a mumbling word to for the rest of their life. And so it's it's not difficult for me, but I wish my wife was a little easier going. But at the same time, I understand.
Right.
You know what I mean? I understand. And I understand, and I hope, and pray that she understands why I continue to speak to them and continue to try to be cordial with them, even when they've wronged us, because anything that happens to you or happens to me happens also to anything said about you or said about me also is said about my wife. And so my wife takes that personal as well. I was hoping I was going to get some some wisdom or some way to
a different answer, whatever.
way to deal with it. And so
I don't think there's no way to deal with it, man. You know, we got our personalities, and she'll be like, "How do you even speak to that person?" Well, sometimes I forget. That's just how I speak. I'm gonna be a gentleman. I'm gonna have civility or whatever. Sometimes I just forget, and I speak without knowing because that's just who I am. Then after the fact, I'm like, "Damn, I'm just tripping, man. I'm already tripping." But that's the way I am, man. But it goes hand in hand. Like we started off the show about balance, right? Blessing versus curses or whatever. Just part of life, right? I got to be the yin to her yang or whatever. How do they say that? Yang to. So I got to be that person that kind of we balance each other out. Yeah. Because I'm outgoing. She hates going like to the grocery stores, things like that. I'm always end up having a conversation. But being a public servant, man, that's just part of it, right? So you're campaigning all year round by your action and your ways. And I learned that from my father. He said, man, you don't campaign just when it's election season, and you do it just naturally, right? So you're campaigning all year round. And so, man, I'm just excited about everything, Rocket, man. I think we got to get out and vote. I know we have to, we need to, we need to go vote, right? We got some, like I said, we got the consul's race on the ballot, and we know that they redrew those lines for a reason, but I still feel that we have the votes. And
no
so
doubt.
everyone, if you're watching, be sure to go vote, but tell somebody else, tell your neighbor.
They won that race. They had their dogs, their horses, their goats. Everybody voted this past election to get that Republican in the seat.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, we don't have to get our dogs and our cats to vote, but we do need brother, sister, mother, father, grandma. We do need all those people involved in the process and getting out to vote. I'm confident that you're gonna win the primary. The people are gonna make the right choice. Because ultimately, like I say all the time, it's your job to campaign, but the people make the decision. Once the people make their decision, then we all have to live with it.
Right.
Once the people make their decision, it's gonna take all hands on deck to make sure that that seat is represented by the people of Precinct 2.
Yeah, and I'm up for the challenge, man. I'm got to take care of my health. We're getting older. Got to take care of my health because it's gonna be a long stretch. So the ultimate goal is to reclaim that seat in November, and we can do it. I don't have a doubt about that because our community always rises up in times of crisis or whatever, in times of need. So I have full confidence in the people that they will get out and vote. But not only vote, but vote for the right candidate. Like I said before, do your homework, do your research. The position is not for on-the-job training. It's not to fulfill your ambitions or whatever, right? I'm not a title chaser. I can care less about a title, right? I want to put the work in. I'm a workhorse, not a show horse. I got that from John. I got that from Commissioner John Wilder Price long years ago. I'm a workhorse, not a show horse. Now one thing, I don't make promises. But one thing I can guarantee the people is I'm gonna work hard for the best interest of the people of McLennan County Precinct 2, because this area where we're at, man, that's what shaped us, man. Coming from East Waco, and I'm gonna dedicate this campaign. I said it when I had that my little Q&A or whatever to my good friend Eric Irvin, man. And the reason why I say that is because when we were young on my dad's campaign, we used to walk these streets and put those flyers in the doors. And he'd always say, man, one day, when you come, I'm gonna be right there with you. I said, yeah, you're gonna be there with me. But he's not here with us anymore. But I just think about the things like that, and I always tell this story where we dumped the campaign stuff in the drainage or whatever. Yeah, we
gutter.
In the gutter. There you go. We sitting on the curb, and Eric was like, man, he really didn't want to be out there, but he was walking because I had to walk. So we got on out the way, and he said, man, let's go to the park, go hang out a little bit, man. You come on my house, we can walk or ride our bikes or whatever. And I'm like, what are we gonna do with I'm kind of green, right? What are we gonna do with all this? Maybe just put them, ain't nobody gonna know. Just put them in the gutter, man, then we'll come back and still get paid because this gift gonna pay us. So I always remember that, man. But it's people like that, man. So I dedicate this campaign to Eric Irvin. That was my partner, man. Man, just going back, Marcus Patterson, Rabbit, we used to run together, man. Daryl Smith, Eric Irvin.
Yeah.
Well, you might not have your signs yet.
See what I'm talking about?
Signs don't win elections.
Yeah. So my signs will be. My wife want me to say this. That's why they keep me grounded, man. So my signs will be coming in. I had to raise money to pay for the signs, so they should be in next week. But like my dad always told me, signs don't win elections. People going in and bubbling in or punching that ballot, that's what's going to win the election. So if you don't see my sign that I'm running, it's not a write-in. You don't have to write my name in.
It's right there.
All you got to do is bubble in the blank, Travis Gibson for McLennan County Commissioner Precinct 2. And that makes a difference too, man, because I had some people wrote my father's name down. If you got the spelling, if you spelled it with a P instead of a B, that voids it out. So I don't really know how many write-ins I got, but I do. I got
Well, you know there was 900 undervotes. So
Yeah.
so that's they may have just discarded, you know.
Yeah. So I'm appreciative for that 349 because I knew a write-in was going to be that's an uphill battle, man. I knew that. But for those people that took the time to
That's a blessing, man.
vote for everything else and then get down to that part and write my name, I really appreciate it. That gives me the motivation to keep on pushing and to carry on and to represent our people. So I'm excited. Early voting starts next Tuesday, February the 17th through February the 27th. I always encourage people to get out and vote early, right? Because on election day, it could be raining. Was it still raining outside? Yeah. It could rain. Anything can happen. So go vote early. Don't take that long, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And you do have the early voting location. I'm trying to go off the top of my head. I know the Waco Multi-Purpose Center, which is over in East Waco. You have the McLennan County Elections Office. Look that up for me right quick. But you have 4 early voting locations. And then
It's usually, now this is what it usually is. It's usually out in Robinson.
they got one in Robinson, the Assembly of God.
Yeah.
Out there towards North Waco, deep North
Yeah,
Waco.
they usually have downtown.
Nah, I can't see
I
that.
read it.
You might not see your eyes.
Man,
your
my-
eyes older than mine.
Hey, but mine good.
Yours good. Yeah.
No, don't read stuff. So we had the McLennan County Elections Office. Of course, that's downtown. You know that. You got the Robinson Community Center. You have the Waco First Assembly of God right there on Bosque. Everybody know where that is, right there on Bosque. And then you have the Multi-Purpose Center. And this is what I would say. Get to that multi-purpose center and vote. So, cause that's the box we're looking at. We can count it's easier to see how the election is going based on how many people going to the multi-purpose center and going out. And of course, Hewitt City Hall and Library, they have it going on out there.
Yeah. And then election day is March the 3rd. And after that, hopefully I'm successful in that. I never undermine opponents whatever I do. But the goal is to take that seat back, man. And this is probably because the window is closing. I thought a lot of people thought during that 2024 special election that if we lost it would be hard to reclaim it. But at that point, it was not, because we had this election that's coming up here.
Yes.
They tried to make it difficult by gerrymandering, Precinct 2 chopping it up, where they removed 13 Democratic boxes out of Precinct 2, and they moved 8 Republican boxes in. So it picks up West Elmont, going towards Golson, cut out a lot of South Waco area. That was intentionally done. So don't let those people say they were trying to balance out the deal. That was intentionally done, headed by Scott Felton, the county judge, to get that going. Plus, they already had their stuff laid out with his son going into the Precinct 4 county commissioner without having to run. The guy that's going to be the new county judge, not having to run against anybody. And one thing I looked at, Rocky, when I looked at the ballot, man, we have so many unopposed positions where those Republicans just sit, nobody is running. And I know we talked about it before, is that we have to start recruiting people to run for these positions, man.
We don't even know what's there because there's nobody to vote for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So here's the deal. You say those are Republican boxes. They never had a Democrat they could vote for.
Right. Yeah. You're right about that. Yeah.
So they may have hung themselves.
Yeah.
You understand?
And so I
what
thought
I'm
about
saying?
that too, because a lot of people that moved from East Waco, that displacement or whatever, moved out
Chalk
to
Bluff.
Bellmead, Lake Lakeview, Chalk Bluff. So I don't think even West, man, they got a lot of Democrats in West Elmont going in Elmont. Yeah. So I think they may have kind of outsmarted themselves, man. So that's why I said I strongly believe we still have a chance, but we have to get out and vote. It's just as simple as that. In 2024, they had the commission's race ran aligned with the presidential race, so that brought out a whole lot of votes. And so, yeah, they plan, they organize, man. But we can do the same thing, man. So
yeah, like I say, man, they shout out to what they that's what I was afraid of when we was that storm, because it said storm. It didn't just say rain. It said
storm,
thunderstorms.
Yeah.
You get wind and all that kind of stuff. So I'm glad we inside.
Yeah.
That way we ain't got to run from.
You ain't got to run from. We were gonna have it at Hood Street Park. That was ideal. To have it out in the park, beautiful day. But like I say, man,
we still get out there.
Yeah. We have some things coming up. Yeah, man. But I appreciate what time is it anyway.
It's 12. It's 1 o'clock. Almost 1 o'clock, man.
Yeah.
So y'all can't walk anyway. So y'all. Hey, man. Y'all go ahead.
We're gonna get on the phone though. We can't walk, and then people, like I said, remind you.
What's your website, by the way?
What's my website? I got a team on that. I do have a website. Tell you what, you can follow me on at Facebook, right? Facebook, and I have a Instagram page. I got to give them a social media team. We'll get that information out.
Because like you said. One of the things that this is I'm talking to black people about this though. Black people, we got to donate to our politicians, our elected officials. Without money, you can't run campaigns. Without money, you can't buy ads on YouTube. You can't buy ads on Facebook. You can't buy ads on nothing. So you got to have money. So I want him to plug his website, because there's a donation button on the website, and when he say make a donation, he's not talking about giving $1,000, but I sure he'll
$5. We get $5.
Yeah, 5, 10. I put it like this here. This is what I would suggest: set you up a deal where you're giving $5 every 2 weeks until November the 1st. If we all did that, that'll cover your campaign.
Yeah,
$5 a week until November the 1st. Just give $5 every 2 weeks. That way, your campaign will have the energy necessary to carry on through the entire election season. Because again, like I told you, and guess what? If you and this is something that I firmly believe, well-funded campaigns can pay people to campaign.
Yeah.
Right? So at the end of the day, if you're able to get donations, you can just pay people to do some of the leg work that you have to depend on volunteers to do.
And we're going to get there at some point. See, my father was running back then. He had Congressman Chet Edwards, right? So they would actually funnel that money down, because my father, Precinct 2, helped Congressman Edwards, right? So that money that would come down, he would pay. That's how I was able to get paid a little bit. Me and my partner Eric, we were able to get a little $20 a week, right? To go to Chapel or the Can, whatever, go spend our little money. But I do have an Act Blue account. I don't have that. But we'll push that out. I push that on my social media deal. But I do have an Act Blue account where it's a people-powered campaign where you can donate $5, $10. I'm not asking for $100, nothing like that, but anything helps. It goes towards the cause. Yeah, well, I know times are hard, man. I get it, because I'm everyday people, man. I'm gonna pay this bill. I'm gonna pay half over here, and I gotta get this. Then I can send my kids a little something. So I know what everyday working people go through, man. So I understand it.
Yes, sir.
And if I was all about the money, I can use my master. I go be somewhere and do something else, but.
You could be an executive at AT&T.
Yeah, man. But that wasn't fulfilling to me. Doing what I do, I feel like I'm doing something, man. Because it's not about how long you're here on this earth, because we're here temporarily, but it's about the impact that you can make while you're here, and then while you have the opportunity to, you're blessed to wake up and make an impact. So that's where I live.
Man, you're doing something right, man. Your beard is almost all black, man. So
I got great, man. You know what? I finally went ahead and accepted, man. I was had my daughter pick them out. I would pay her $1 for each hair she picked out. But my wife
I look like I got the mange if somebody picked mine.
Nah, you can't pick yours out. But I had we don't really grade a lot. I know my dad graded. He had just he had a strip on his beard, but he didn't. I don't have no hair anyway. But we don't grade fast like that, man. But I got it. So I guess I'm getting a little wiser, man. They say it's a sign of wisdom. So it's coming along, man. But we blessed, man. 54, 50, you say you just turned 56.
Yeah, just turned 56.
Yeah, man, we almost 60, but, you know, God has been good to us, man. So the least I can do when God wakes us up in the morning, at least I can do is show up and try to be the best I can be, man. You know, and I fall short sometimes. I got a Valentine's Day, and I take away from my wife. What's it? That's not the website. That's the that's not web. That's not it. That's the campaign social media page. We'll push that information because I do have that. I leave that to my social media team where I can go out and do the work that I need to do. But man, I appreciate it, man. I think it was a good conversation to have on a Saturday morning. And yeah, man, we can do it.
Yeah, those people who are just coming in, it seems like we got a lot of people just coming into the conversation. I suggest you go back to the very beginning. Travis covers a lot of information about what his platform is, what his campaign is. He had his campaign manager, his campaign team in here. She, said some very important things about the campaign as well. So that, and again, I'm sure before March 3rd, this is not the last time we're gonna talk, man. I think the response we're getting on Facebook and on YouTube warrants probably another conversation to have.
Yeah.
Hopefully it won't be 2 hours next time. But if it's
whatever
what it is,
right?
It is what it is, man.
That's why I say, man, when you got organic friendship, man, that go back, you know, we were kids, now we men. You have conversations like that, you know. We can sit around and go hours, man.
Yes, sir, we can.
That's what my wife get on me about. And she said I talk too much, right? She said, you know, people getting tired. They get tired of you talking.
I bet she don't get tired of hearing you.
Now she do. And I'm saying, you think people get tired of me? They say, yeah, you talk too much. But hey, man, that's just me, man. You got to talk. But the one good thing about me, I'm a good listener, man. You have to be able to listen to get understanding. So I am a good listener. I'm a good listener, but I'm a good communicator, and I guess I'm an educator.
You know, like I said, I appreciate you saying, like I said, I suggest people go listen. Said some things about how the county commissioner can affect other things other than just road and bridges. You had some I like to use creative ways to implement change in Precinct 2.
Yeah.
Gave some people some inspiration that if they create something, it can be supported by the commissioner.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Again, man, like I said, I think it's been a very fruitful interview, conversation, chat, whatever you want to call it, man. And I look forward to us having it again.
Yeah.
Trunda says she proud of us both, and it was a good conversation.
Thank Trunda for coming out. She was at the Canada Forum.
Yeah. She gave. I wasn't able to be there, but she gave me the report. She said you won that one. First round goes to Travis.
Hey man, you got to strike first, man. When we talk, you can't receive. You got to deliver.
And to be honest with you, hopefully, I can have some other conversations with some other politicians that are close personal friends of mine. And we can.
I'm a servant leader.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm not a politician. I'm a servant leader.
Hey man, you're a politician, man. When we have, now I'm just messing with you. But now you identify yourself as a servant leader.
Yeah.
Public servant, whatever.
Yeah.
But when I describe you, if I tell people, hey, the servant leader is coming, they gonna think a preacher about to show up. So
yeah. I had a guy at the candidate forum here, and it was really good to have some on this side of town, man, for our people. He said, man, when I came in, he said, are you a preacher? I said, no, sir, I'm not a preacher. So you just got to look like a preacher. I said, yeah, but I'm not. I'm a servant leader. I'm not a preacher. Man, I want to correct something too. I want to give homage to we know this history part is Wilbert Austin Park, who was another city council person that paid and the way for us to follow behind. Mr. Noah Jackson served on city council. There's a lot of great men and women, man, that we stand on the shoulders of that we owe. I'm just trying to do my part, man. So when I'm gone, that somebody else can come through and take over, man, to continue that succession like you talked about. And we do have to have a succession plan, man, because it's like if you look around now, like the past 2 summers or whatever, man, it's not a lot of things for our kids to get involved in our community. That's why I say invest back into our elderly, right? Invest back into our veterans. You're a veteran, right?
Yes, sir.
We got because y'all served with dignity. I never served in the military, whatever. So I have a lot of respect for those men and women who served, and a lot of times they get overlooked. Because I was going through the budget, and our Veteran Services Fund is underfunded, understaffed. There are a lot of veterans who go without getting the proper benefits because they don't know, and that goes back to education. So we have to expand outreach to let those veterans know the benefits they can get. Even the spouses of veterans, we got to take that in consideration. We have to invest back into our youth. That's really important to me. Is investing back in our youth. We got to have programs.
Do they still have summer jobs anymore? I don't even know if they have summer jobs for kids anymore.
I don't think so, man. But that's a disconnect, right? I know the Waco Trio said we had 70 gangs here in Waco. That's false. But instead of putting money into having a gang task force, let's put money into putting preventions in place, having after school tutorials, mental health, substance abuse classes, real, partner with TSCC and Baylor University and MCC to have real job skill training where people can go and get a good paying job, making a livable wage where they can have home ownership. So there's so many things that we can do, and you can take advantage of with that Commissioner C, man. There's just a lot of things, right, that we can do. We don't have no National Youth Sports Program when we had Paul Quinn here on campus, man. But when we were coming up, we always had something we could do. On a Saturday, you could find us down at Eastern Little League. If it was doing baseball season or football season, you could find, somewhere that we were off the streets and doing something that kept us occupied. So we doing our youth a disservice, man. So, but we have to invest back in our communities, man. So you have road and bridge infrastructure, but you also have human infrastructure for the human. So that's what I'm all about, is giving back. And that's a way that you can be creative and leverage that county budget to make a difference and make an impact in the community. So I encourage everybody to go back to the beginning too. We covered a lot of things, man. A lot of topics. I want to give a shout out to my partner Roy Cross, man. He was tuning in from California today.
All right.
So he's gonna be listening.
What up, Elroy?
Yeah, he called me that when I put the deal out last night. He said, "You got a little cartoon character, huh?" I said, "Yeah, man. Hey, Rocket had his first. So I sent it to my social media team. I got me a cartoon character. Looked pretty good until they started trying to manipulate.
I don't think mine got in their mind either.
You ain't got that much up in there, man. So the people just tune in, go back and rewatch and share. Share the information around, and let's get ready to make a difference, man. But I'm all about the people.
We have Earl Farley said, "Great job, Frat."
Rue
and PK say, "You got it." And but no, man. Again, Travis, I want to thank you for showing up, man, and coming and having this conversation with me. I know the people are important to you, and hopefully this touched every mind and every ear that needs to be touched to make it clear who is the candidate that should represent the people in Precinct 2. Let's get this primary out the way. Let's get everybody out to vote, so then we can start working on doing what we know we can do as a community, which is reclaim County Commissioner's seat in Precinct 2, man. Much love, my brother.
Man, if we only knew what we could do, man. If we only knew what we can do, man.
For sure, man. Much love, and we out.